What's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's video. I'm Steve. And that's Rhett. And this is his freshly rebuilt Beams Turbo A86. And we are here at BR Tuning because we are dynoing the new built motor for boost.
With no front end.
It's got none of this, it's got none of that, it's got none of this, but it's got that.
Yeah.
Brand new motor in it. Well, brand new old motor, which is now new again.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully we're good. We've done like 4 oil changes on this thing just to make sure it broke in and everything.
This is metal for sure.
Everything seems fine. Right now we're just battling a little bit of a heating issue. Not sure what it was. I changed a little bit of the coolant system, but hopefully we can at least get it up on the dyno, run it hard, and yeah, just put another tune on it, and not looking for, realistically not honestly looking for more power, but it's now got lower compression. It's got a, you know, fully forged bottom end, so it should be able to squeak a little bit out of it. If it makes more, whatever, who cares? But just want it to run and be reliable.
We're not looking for more power, but if we came here and found it, I mean, hey, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it made 0 power before.
Yeah.
So
it made a lot of pretty terrible noises before.
Short rod.
Oh,
she is bent.
Do you think it was like a 1.9 liter after that rod shrank? Or would that be bigger?
Yeah, I don't know.
2.1, I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. That's short crank life, you know? That's
Yeah.
short stroke.
Yeah.
She was ready to rev to the moon.
We'll see what she does. The new shaved and painted bay looks insane.
Yeah.
I've never been so terrified to touch something in my life.
I put back on the stock valve cover.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Beams valve covers do look heinous. That's probably the worst thing about these, just because they're like a newer engine. It doesn't look as cool as like the 4A cover or like an SR20 cover. But I had a powder coated one, and the boys were hard on me. They were like, if you don't take the baffles out of that thing, do not put it on it. And I cleaned the hell out of it, and they were still like, do not put that if you don't take the baffles out. It has these valve covers have the welded in baffles. And I just, you know, they were like, don't risk it, so I didn't risk it. Tech tip, I guess.
Noted. So this is especially nerve-wracking considering some of the break-in procedures we had. Done about 3 to 4 oil changes on the 8.6, and there was some material in there, some RTV, nothing crazy. We're just thinking that the head wasn't necessarily cleaned out that well from the machining, so there's like some swarf or just like very fine shavings in there. Didn't look like bearing, didn't look like anything like that, but we changed it out a lot. The bigger issue that I think we are really going to encounter is cooling. So normally this car would run, gets up to 190, fans kick on, back down to 180, like that. Now for whatever reason, this thing is getting up to like 195, the fans are coming on and they are not shutting off. So it'll hold at 190, but it is not cooling. So there's an SQ Engineering rear piece that was put on the back, and we're gonna see how much that impacts the cooling.
Long story short, I put a different fitting in the back because mine, unfortunately, the fittings didn't come with it. So the 3/8 bar fitting I got was smaller than what they provide. So I think it's just restricting the flow in the back of the head.
So we're gonna find out if that works or not. What do you think it's gonna make?
It's either gonna make nothing or it's gonna make something.
All right, so worst case scenario, it makes a lot of noises like
boom. More than 100 wheel. It just depends how long it makes more than 100 wheel. If it makes that for a short amount of time, then this is a very terrible video. If it makes more than 100 wheel for a longer period of time, then we should be good and Red will be happy.
Cool. So it's either gonna make the rest of your summer shitty.
Sorry, a really good summer or a really bad summer.
Yeah, it's either gonna get tucked away in the garage and do this all over again, and I'll drive the Genesis.
So the first goal is to make 100 wheel and not make any knocking sounds.
Yeah, we're chalking this up to experience.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
rhinos.
Just idling and bopping around, it's getting up to like 203, 204. So let's just hope this dyno session just doesn't become like how to stop overheating issues. Hopefully it'll get up to like 205 and then open the bottom thermostat. I think it's just restricting flow enough that it's not opening the thermostat. I think that's really what it's doing now, because that bottom pipe is still cold and the top is boiling. Like it's 203 and only the top of the rad is hot.
So thermostat looks like it's open, went from 207 down to 186. Right now it's running around 190, so still warm, but not bad. We blew off a charge pipe at about 8 PSI, so far so good. This is turning out better than I thought. Last run we blew the throttle cable off, it's pouring outside. So we're gonna reattach the throttle cable, go on trucking, see where we get to. All the way down there. So that last run we were on gate, so we've got a 10-pound spring in there. We're making about 13 pounds of boost. Right now we're on 263 wheel and 270 pound-feet of torque, which I think he's picked up already 40 pound-feet of torque versus what he did last time. So no boost solenoid, no Mac valve yet. We're still kind of just figuring a few things out here and there, and I guess fixing whatever's falling off this thing, which is a couple things. So.
All right, well that's 3 pulls later. She hasn't rod knocked yet, and it's not overheating. So obviously we're keeping an eye on the temperature, but it's kind of just sitting at 190, whereas it used to sit at the 180. So we'll sort that out later. But so far it's going okay. It's going okay. We're at like 270 wheel, I think is what it said.
13
so
PSI.
We're not really running it out very hard. Like I think Brad's only just gone up to like 6,800, 6,900. It's not running out full. That is where it made peak before, so I don't know if he's got it fully flat loaded up, so we'll see. We know that with less compression it might make less power at very similar boost levels, but how much less, who knows? Is that marginal, is that big? Whatever, you know it is. We're just hoping this thing runs and works and gets off this dyno with an engine intact. Update. Wow. We got what we just did. I took a look at base timing. We're all good. We just changed out the plugs, fresh plugs. He did all those pulls on old plugs. It is technically like a pound more. It's not got as much power, but again, we can chalk that up maybe to compression. And we also dynoed this in the middle of February, in the middle of winter when it's cold, the air is cold, everything's nice.
Early April we came here.
There was still snow on the ground, right?
It was snowing.
Yeah.
I think it was about 5 degrees that day, and it's 25 today.
Correct. Like I think the morning when we got here it was still in the negative. So again, how much you chalk that up? Like maybe a few wheel on the cold, maybe a few wheel on the compression. So, but we're down about, it made 281 and it made 313. So we're down whatever, 30 something. But again, we haven't done full pulls out to 8. So we'll see. It's just interesting that it made that much PSI. And earlier, it made a ton more torque. coming up. So it doesn't matter, it works and it runs, which is all that we need, and it's cooling.
It's hotter, but it's cooling.
Yeah, so it's worked out. But let's get a few more pulls in, and then we can say everything's good.
Then you can say motor builder.
Yeah, correct.
Woo! So the last pull we hit with a degree of timing, picked up about 11 wheel. We are 291 and I don't know, 260, 270 something pound-feet of torque, but losing voltage on the alternator and high RPM, so we just tighten up that belt. Just lots of things on the built motor. So overall, things are looking way better than I personally thought they would go, but that's good. I'm glad I'm wrong. Right now it seems like we're fighting an alternator issue. It doesn't seem to be holding charge above 6,000 RPM. It's charging up until there, and then it kind of just drops off until he lets off and it picks back up. So we tighten the belt, we've looked out over, we've kind of scraped off some of the grounds, and now we're going to the extreme of just taking a jumper cable and grounding it from the alternator to the chassis to see if that helps. We'll see. All right, end of the day.
Yep.
Where are we at?
Yeah, we came off the dyno, everything's fine, car's fine, car made power. It literally made exactly what it made before. We were running in an alternator issue. We tried to solve the situation on the dyno. We're not sure if it's just not charging or the grounds are bad, but I regrounded, we tried to fix it, but I think the alternator is kind of going out because past like 7,000 RPM, it just starts to lose voltage, and it's kind of a scary thing with an ECU like that. So we basically only just got to turning on the Mac valve, so we ended up pretty much exactly what it made prior with just a little bit more foot-pounds of torque. I think it made like 15 more foot-pounds of torque with the exact same horsepower, and basically on a pound or two more boost, obviously just probably due to compression. So unfortunately we're just gonna have to kind of fix some of the problems and like sort of try again. Basically, Brett was mentioning that potentially he sees a little bit of restriction in the turbo and the back housing, but again, we really didn't lean on it. We really try on it to see where it would go. It's obviously only going to go up from here. It only needs a little bit more PSI, and you can actually put power to it now with the rods. But all in all, motor ran strong, and yeah, everything else is good. So Just got to solve a few small little issues, the coolant and then the alternator, and then we're good to go.
Overall, you built a motor that works. Makes
Yeah,
power.
yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, it's been stressful, at least leading up this last few days, but it works and it hasn't grenaded, you know. So fingers crossed I can still do that. But I built a motor, so that's pretty cool.
Good job, man. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Help us do more cool stuff like this. See you on the next one.